Welcome to a new episode of BNF Gaming. I am here with Brian. He's not talking right now. He's here though. Anyway, Brian and I are each playing this game. He's not playing it right now, but we are both going to at one point play this game, and we're going to compare them and see exactly, basically how.
Count me in. I don't know if I'm actually going to get the game.
Oh, you should. Anyway, our idea is we're both going to play the game at one point, and then we're going to compare what our choices are like. So as you can see, they've already made a parable over here with this little computer screen mimicking mine. And we'll just start right here.
I actually have something to say before you get started.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
The Beginner's Guide. It's made by the
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
Wait,
employee
there's an
number
intro. Just wait till the intro's over.
427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, now the narrator's telling me what to do. Okay, Brian, you can talk.
Okay, so what I was saying before I was completely interrupted. There's this game made by the guy who made the Stanley Parable. It's called The Beginner's Guide. I strongly recommend this game. It's about an hour and a half. It's on sale right now.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
The
mean?
rates are awesome.
Stanley decided to
It
go
has
to the meeting room.
really
Perhaps he had
good
simply
backstory,
missed a
and I think
memo.
the game's super deep.
No matter how hard
And
Stanley
I'm
looked,
telling
he
you,
couldn't find a
you
trace of his
Okay, we'll
co-workers.
stop doing that because we'll probably end up playing that game. So you'll get the beginner's guide for $6, but you won't get the Stanley Parable for $2. I'm offended.
I'm not saying I'll get that.
I know.
I'm not saying I'll get either.
No, I'll probably get both, but I don't know.
I'm cheap.
I know you are. Take a bit to explore. But I want to find room 420.
Place it.
419. There is no 420. That's great. There's no desk 420. That's awesome. There's filing cabinets where the desk would be. That's great. I love how this game will get mad at you if you do something wrong. Like, if it says go to the boardroom and you just stand here in one spot, it'll be like, I said Stanley went to the boardroom.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he
First
entered the
decision.
door on his left.
Okay. You have to really...
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Cool. Drinking it all in. Alright, cool, time to leave.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I love this. I'm not even going to tell you what's happening, Brian. let's just say this dude is really angry at me. Let's see what happens when I do this.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That's great.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Oh man, it restarted me. That's great what I just did. This is great.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Oh no!
Perhaps he had
420
simply
is
missed
here.
a
It's a
memo.
room, actually. Wow, I wonder what this computer said. It said awaiting input. That's not my teeth.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This
do the
was
same
not the correct
decisions I
way to
did
the
before,
meeting room,
but
and
minus what I
Stanley knew it
did
perfectly
to
well.
start the game
Perhaps
over.
he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
That's great. This is funny.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stan. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
That's great. This dude's
I don't
so
know how
angry.
to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Yeah, okay.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
That's great.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
This dude is so angry.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Yeah,
You
it
don't think
was.
I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
You know, I do want to do this. I'm not going to completely deny him.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge.
Brian,
Here,
you still there?
Based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version.
Okay.
And to be perfectly candid,
checking.
I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
I made the narrator dude angry. That's great. I went through the other door.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh, okay.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
That's great.
Yes.
I made this dude so angry.
Seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, God.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then...
This is great.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Fine, I'll go inside.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Oh, he opened it up. This is retarded, but it's so fun.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
What? I didn't bring a light. Does it look like I brought a light?
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
That's great. Okay, new game. Brian, you want to play this. You'll think it's really funny. I said you need to do this. You'll think it's really funny if you choose the right option.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me
He's
talk.
so
It's inspired.
if you choose the right
I couldn't have
options
done
and
it
you
any
make the
better
narrator
myself.
angry,
What
he'll,
is this game even
punish you.
supposed
It's
to be?
funny.
I can't
Turn,
figure it
mean
out.
and demonic.
Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Kirby's turned demonic.
Yeah, if you treat him wrong. Yeah, he'll get angry if you choose the right options. The right options. Now, if you choose the options he doesn't like, he'll get angry. It's pretty funny. I chose just all the wrong options. Like, I made him so angry.
It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Your
Genius.
apparently.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more.
Okay, I see how it is. I think I broke the game. Oh, nope, I thought I broke the game. I did not. This is great. This is definitely a right option to play. Ooh, this is new. Hey, does this look familiar? I don't understand what I'm supposed to. Oh man, all this is really familiar for some reason. Alright. Fine, I'll go back the other direction. I think I messed up somewhere. What? What?
I wonder what he found.
Huh.
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Oh man. I don't
Stanley
like
decided
that
to
it
go to
restarts
the
it if you
meeting
don't
room
do
to
it
check
once.
on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Wait, Brian. Brian, are you still there?
Yep. Nope.
Okay. Tips. Just a second. I think it'll come back up. Just a minute. Oh, I don't think it's gonna come back up. Here, just a second. Let me see if I can find it. I think I know what it is, but get Chris out of the room. Okay. Tips for not getting fired. Do incredibly hard work and have no hope for promotion whatsoever. Don't talk. And don't get fired. Oh my god, this is gonna be the best.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yay. That's great. This is a great game. This was totally worth the $2 I spent.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But
There's a
Stanley
car.
just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Yes.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And
yes,
then perhaps
Brian,
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
Oh my god, it just
thought.
broke my brain.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of the world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
That's great. This game's great. Like, this is a little boring right here, because you can't do much.
I am normal.
But this game's great.
Everything will be fine.
And now it'll probably restart me again.
Okay.
Nope.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
What the?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
That's great.
Although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her
great.
career.
This game is
and by
great.
extension,
I may have
most
to
of
go
her
longer
life.
than a half hour.
She had
I
no
may go
time for
45.
this, so it was
Although I
only a
maybe would beat
moment
the entire
that she
game in
stood there,
45.
staring down at the body.
We're
And
going
then
on
she
24
turned
right
and
now.
ran.
This is great, though. This game is great. Oh, it just restarted me again, but this game
How
is great.
wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This
No, I'm
is
gonna do everything.
great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Wait a minute. It changed the dialogue a little, I just noticed.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, it didn't change the choices, but it changed the dialogue a little in the beginning.
Yet there was
Yeah,
not a
tips
single
for not
person
getting
here
fired. Talk
either.
less, do
Feeling
unbelievably
a
amazing
wave of
work all the time,
disbelief,
every day,
Stanley
with no
decided to
expectation
go
of
up
promotion
to
or
his
recognition.
boss's office,
Don't get
hoping
fired.
he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Is the second here? Can I answer a text? Alright, there we go. Ooh, we're in my boss's office. Executive bathroom? Yes, please. I gotta pee! Come on, I gotta pee! Fine. I'll pee in the plant. I will pee in the freaking plant. Give me 5 minutes. Alright, cool. Yeah, so I'm here to see Mr. Bossman. Hello. 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 Okay. I will just go right in then.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, okay. Wow, I find that a bit ominous, don't you think? Okay. I don't think that's the right use of that word, but whatever works. Terrible secret he had. What the heck? Jump scare by a light, that works. Ooh. Next level of
Descending
the game.
deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Alright, this is game.
Stanley walked
Whoa.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I'm good.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
But actually, no. Maybe.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley,
I am
cried the
God.
narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Oh.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
But I am God and I stop time.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
That's great. Oh man, that's awesome. So this is just one of the endings to the game. Yeah. I think, I don't know how long I'm going on here, I'm gonna have to check. We are going on... We're going off 30 minutes. Alright, 30 minutes. So I think here in a second. Yeah, this is super cool. This is a cool game. I mean, that's probably just one of the frickin' realities you can go through these. It's super cool. So, this game really, like, this game is worth it. We'll see how long it takes me to figure out how to get out of this pile of crap. There, right here. We'll figure out how long it takes, and I'll
Oh,
complete the
look
game
at
from start to
these
finish.
two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Alright, we're back.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others. So the thought of total solitude was
I'm going to
terrifying
play
to
the
him.
game straight through
When
the way
Stanley
it's
came
supposed
to a
be,
set of two
instead
open doors,
how I
he
did it.
entered the door
Apparently
on
how
his
I did it
left.
was amazing anyway, but yeah.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of
So,
disbelief, Stanley decided to
we'll
go
probably be
up
able
to
to
his
beat this
boss's
entire-
office. Hoping he
this
might
entire
come
thing in
into a
there, in
staircase,
this time
Stanley
frame,
walked
so
upstairs
it'll be
to
good.
his boss's office.
Alright, so we peed in the plant. Can I go in here? Oh, we can. I've never been in here before. Oh my god, there's so many options. Yeah, okay, so I'm not playing the game straight through. Apparently that's not happening. Oh yeah. Sorry, there's just too many options in this game. Okay, that works. Alright.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the
This game is
keypad,
so
Stanley
great. I
happened to
can't even
input
right
the
now.
correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Alright, now I'm playing the game. After my elevator thing. The way the game is supposed to go, if you follow everything.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
That's awesome.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
The secret
Did he
to
have the
life.
strength to find out?
This game's great. I love this game.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their
Oh, that's
true
nice.
nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Urgent.
Stanley's
Employees
co-workers.
should never, under
The
any
lives of so many
circumstances, attempt
individuals reduced
do
to
something.
images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I wonder where mine is. I can't remember what number I am, darn it.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof.
This is
The heart
great.
of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking,
Ew, so like
eating,
Inside Out?
working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
How do I do that? I don't know. Everything's offline. It's already offline, so what am I supposed to, like, explode it? Oh, but that's it. I don't know how to do this. Ron, I feel like an idiot playing this game. I don't know how to do that. I don't know, this narrator will probably get angry and tell me how to do it, so that's good news. I don't understand. I'm stupid. Oh, I see. Ooh, there's a big red button. I want to press it. Alright. Mind controls. Idle. Awaiting input. I just screwed around all that time just to find out it's in here. God.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his...
Yay, I won. I think stuff appeared on my screen.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it
I think
over?
that's a chair. Is that a chair? Is it a... Oh, God.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his
Don't go into
co-workers
the light,
gone?
Stanley.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
Don't go
But
into the
as
light.
sunlight streamed into the chamber, he
Is that a
realized
bird?
none of this
Okay, now I
mattered
want to go out
to
in the
him.
light.
For it was not knowledge or
freaking
even
bird.
power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but
This
to
door
let
doesn't
go.
open fast enough. This door needs
No
to open
longer
like
would
10 times
anyone tell
faster.
him where to go,
I don't
what
care
to
what the
do,
narrator's saying. I
or
just,
how
oh
to
my God,
feel.
it's a house. Oh my
Whatever
God, it's a
life
house.
he lives, it will be his.
Oh, it's a barn. Oh my God, oh my
That
God,
was
oh my God.
all he needed to know. It
God,
was
there's stone.
perhaps
Oh my God.
the only
Oh my
thing
God.
worth knowing.
Oh my God, I'm so
Stanley stepped through the open door.
Yeah, I would step through the freaking open door if you opened a little faster. You...
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin,
Oh, I can't move.
the
it.
feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Oh, now can I
And
move
Stanley
around?
was happy.
No. I was happy. I beat the game. Achievement unlocked. Yes. All right. Brian, you still there?
No.
Okay. Anyway, this, my friends and YouTubers, was the Stanley Parable as played by me, the Great Foster Moon. We will see whether Brian will buy this game and play it.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty...
I'm probably gonna ask for money or Steam gift card for Christmas, so.
I don't know.
we'll
Well,
see.
I'm going to upload it soon. I think it's pretty freaking great.
Right, I know.
In fact, I actually made the narrator dude mad. Because he did that.
I know. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, and don't forget to check out some of our other series.
We
Metro Conflict's a new one we started.
Yeah, we just started
Don't
that
forget
one.
to check out Gary's mod. Tro, all that.
Yeah, we got some good stuff for you.
It's called drugs. Kidding.
Yes.
Not drugs.
Yeah, we got some good stuff for you.
Death.
Yeah, so remember to like and subscribe and do all that stuff you guys do. And thank you for watching.